Reality Team TV, we're back, and we've got another special guest on the red chair. And I'm sure, the conversation we're going to have today is going to be inspiring in different ways and also very open, insightful, and educational in some type of way. Darling, can you introduce yourself? Who's on the red chair today? And we'll go from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Kay, but everyone knows me as Popz or Coco Popz.
Coco Popz. Because even I wanted to get into that as well. How did you get your name, Coco Popz? Because it's quite a cool name, and obviously all of us grew up eating Coco Popz and all sorts. Like, how did you? Yeah. So how did you get the name?
So Coco is just down to the colour of my skin. It's just the colour that I am is Coco in it. Then Popz is shortened version of my surname, which is Papula. So everyone just calls me Popz. So Coco Popz felt like it was the right name.
Okay. How long have you had that name for then?
Since I had an Instagram account, since 2013 maybe.
Okay. When I talk about fitness, like running, fitness, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
I guess physical health, mental health as well.
Yeah.
I do both. So I run a lot. I've been running for about 11 years, but I've been in fitness for probably about 20 now. So the first time I stepped into a gym, I think I was like 17 years old.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of in and out. Then I kind of came out of it. Then I was with someone, and then he broke my heart. And then I found myself in the gym again. And I liked how I felt going to the gym, being a bit more intentional. And because I'd lost some weight, because I was much bigger when I was like younger, I started getting like a lot of compliments, and I decided that I felt good, so I wanted to continue to feel good.
Yeah. Like a lot of people always say that, when you go to the gym, when you start working out and doing all of these things, it makes you feel good. For you personally, as someone who's also like obviously proof to that, yeah. What would you say about certain people who find it difficult keeping up, the gym routine, keeping up with like fitness and whatnot? What would you say to them kind of people? Would you say like it's a mental thing, or it's beyond a mental blockage, if you get what I mean?
I think everybody's different.
Yeah.
But I feel like comparison is the thief of joy. Like your progress is individual, your journey is individual, innit? Like the reasons I started are going to be very different from somebody else's reasons why they start. But then they're also going to have very different reasons as to why they continue on that journey. I think people compare themselves to others way too much. So when they're not seeing certain things, they feel demotivated, not recognizing that they're on a different journey to someone else. But I think even more importantly, people choose like a lifestyle that they can't maintain. So like you go like really, really hard, and that the reality of it is that you can only do 2 days a week. So, but it's better to do the 2 days a week consistently than try to push for 5 and then get angry at yourself because you can't commit to it. You can't sustain it. So then you just end up falling off of it and then not going back to it.
Like sometimes people get overwhelmed, innit?
Yeah.
When they put too much pressure on themselves, innit?
Yeah.
Trust me. And even that, on a quick one as well, I want to speak about Black Women Rising UK. Like, you're one of the ambassadors of that, yeah? Like, can we speak about that, a little bit more?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Like, what is that all about, for the people that are watching? Like, what is it all about? And, yeah.
So I guess the main thing to kick off with is that I actually had cancer a few years ago. So I was diagnosed with a myxoid liposarcoma, which is hardened fatty cells that became cancerous over time on my hip. And as somebody who was very much into like running, lifting weights, eating what are perceived as the right things, to be in a position where I'd now been diagnosed with cancer it was hard to reconcile in my head, because how do I do all the right things and still end up in this position? Cancer is a very isolating journey, and I think I was just looking for my tribe, and they found me. So their page popped up, and then I reached out and I was just like, hey, I've been diagnosed with cancer, not really sure what to do. And then they started to send me some really like nice materials that were relevant for me, because all of the literature that I was seeing was middle-aged white people. And at the time I was diagnosed, I think I was 33 or 34 when I was diagnosed. And it was really difficult to understand why this was happening to me and what changes I would experience as a Black woman. And then I realised that I needed to become the voice that I didn't have and have the tribe that I didn't like, be the tribe that I didn't have when I was going through like that season of my life, to kind of navigate it, because you have your friends, you have your family, and this is not on anyone's, it's not no one's fault, but it's very much your friends and your family can't necessarily relate to you the same way somebody who's been in that position can. And then from then, when I was on the other side of it, so I've been cancer free for 3 years now.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I decided that I wanted to try and make a difference, that use my story to impact others and be that light for them, because I didn't necessarily have that. The tribe that I had was Black Women Rising, and it was my way of wanting to give back.
Because even with what you said, yeah, like you said, sometimes we go through certain things, innit? And sometimes our friends, close people to us, might not be able to relate to us, innit? And we might need to go outside and find, like you said, in our tribe, people that actually can relate to exactly what we're going through, innit? You know, so even talking about just like your mental health aspect of things, yeah, you know, like when you was going through, like, you know, your cancer treatment and all of that, how did you get through, how did you get through that process in terms of like keeping, you know, like your mental health to a certain degree, like keeping, you can't understand, how did you go through that process?
The grace of God, you know, I can't lie. It's still very triggering now. The mental battles that you have to go through, they go way beyond like the physical ones you have to endure. And if you are obviously like fortunate to be on the good side of a prognosis where the evidence of the disease is gone, you still have to you have a lot of questions. Like I've always had a lot of questions. Like how did we get here? How exactly did this happen? I just had like my most recent scans and meeting with my consultant yesterday, and even in that scenario, I'm still very triggered by the idea of going to the hospital, because it's like revisiting it. So mentally, that's a battle that I have to overcome every 6 months. It's really difficult, but when you are focused on like just continuing to pour into yourself, when you're focused on like managing what you can and leaving the things that you can't control, just like let them go. I know that I really struggled with the control aspect because this was out of my hands. I'm very like together normally. I'm very, very together, very organized, and it threw the spanner in like the works of my life. So I had to learn how to let go of things, like do the things that I could. I was still trying to lift really heavy weights when I was having treatment, and that just put me in a worse position. I ended up in hospital for something completely separate.
Even like on a quick one, what made you like, obviously you love what you was doing before anyway, but usually from what I understand, when people are going through like, you know, such thing as that, they kind of like put certain things on pause. Like for you, what made you still continue to lift up weights?
It was more mental.
Okay.
But I was in denial that my body wasn't like what it was before I had cancer. So I had to mourn like and had to grieve my pre-cancer body. And I had to give it some grace because it was going through a battering at that time, because I had to have radiotherapy and then I also had to have surgery to remove the tumour. And I was very angry at my body for not being able to do the things that it could do before. So I put a lot of pressure on myself mentally, but I also felt like it was the only thing I could control. So I could dictate what weights I wanted to lift, and nobody could tell me that you shouldn't lift those weights. And my brothers told me I should stop lifting that amount of weight, and I ignored it, and then it just put me in a worse position. So I was doing it more for mental and just to keep the momentum. And I'm glad I did, to be honest.
You're glad?
I am.
Okay.
I felt like I needed to give myself grace. So because of the stuff I do around fitness, I feel like I'm able to tell people, actually, you have to give yourself grace on this journey and accept that actually the body that you have during cancer treatment is going to be very, very different to the body you knew before. So you have to learn to love that version of yourself, learn to nurture that version of yourself, and maybe find ways to sort of navigate what fitness looks like for you in that season of your life as well.
I always say to people nowadays, I think I even said this to him, you have to understand your seasons.
Yeah.
So like I'm a person, for example, like I do music myself, but I understand my seasons. So someone else would be like, oh, you're not moving as fast as you should be moving. And I'm like, I don't think it's time. And that's just a conversation with me and God. Because you could tell by what's going on in life, do you know what I mean? So for me, I think, obviously sometimes don't overly understand the season, because sometimes the season's past and you can still stay there. But for me, my main thing now is just you as a person, especially most, like you said, when you isolate because of certain stuff, only you understand why you're isolating. It's a conversation with you and God. It's not a conversation between you and so much other people that, like, if God gave them the conversation, they would understand why you're moving the way you're moving. Do you know what I mean?
But whose time do you think, like, that you're not going fast in comparison to who?
No, but this is the problem with other people. We live in society now. So society, let's say for example, social media. Someone could say something on social media and we're all going to follow it. Whereas that's not how life actually goes. We all are actually raised and gone through different type of experiences to understand. Like, say for example, you're even down to listening to your story now. I'm listening to it and I'm thinking to myself, right, like, if I went through such a situation, how would I be like and this and that? But it's not my actual current situation. So I wouldn't, you got some people that they will start deep in someone else's scenario or situation. I think a lot of people do that nowadays. You know what I mean?
I want to also talk about, like, this is the key word here, leading by example. Like, one of the beautiful things that I actually really love about following you and following your journey, proper, like, seeing everything that you do, like, you see, like, the bond that you've got with your daughter. Yeah, honestly, yeah, like, honestly speaking, yeah, it's so beautiful to see, like, how, like, you also get her involved as well in, like, a lot of the things that you do, because we're both parents as well. So it's like, when we see something like that, it's special, like, it's beautiful, like, you get me? So, like, for you, in terms of, like, obviously, as a parent, leading by example, like I said, showing your daughter certain things from early and whatnot, like, how much does that mean to you? Like, how important is that to you? Like, do you do it because, obviously, like, again, it's just a normal thing to do, or you do it, like, consciously because you know, like, how important it is, if you get what I'm trying to say?
I think it's important. And I feel like, because I'm a single mother as well, I think it started off as, like, there was no choice.
Yeah.
There was no choice. I wanted to do these things for me and didn't necessarily have the childcare, and I was missing a lot of stuff that I felt was important for me. It was very difficult to navigate, like, the cancer season while being a parent as well. Because I didn't have, like, certain elements of my community there. So both my parents passed away. So I didn't have them to just be like, actually, can you take her while I do this? But I had a really solid friendship group, and my siblings and my cousins, everyone pulled together.
Big them up, man.
Thank you. They're honestly, they're amazing.
Yeah, big them up.
But when it came to, like, returning to, like, life after cancer, that support isn't there as much, because everybody then has their own families to priority, and I recognise that. So I realised that there were things I just had to miss, and the things I couldn't miss, I would just bring her to with me if I didn't have the childcare. And I found that it became really important for me, for her to see me as an individual, to see who I am. Because I realised that I come from Nigerian parents, first generation immigrants, and I didn't really know them. Like, I didn't know them as individuals. They're their mum and dad. Like, I know their names only because I've seen legal documents, sort of thing. But you don't refer to them by their first name. I didn't know who they are as individuals. Like,
same for us as well.
I couldn't tell you specifically what my mum's favourite colour was.
Yeah, things like that.
My dad's.
I was literally saying it today, yeah? I was saying it to my cousin today, one was in an Uber coming here, that, like, like, the older we get, like, some of us, we start asking each other, like, certain questions, like, and one of the questions that I've never asked my parents, that soon I really want to sit down with my mum and my dad and just ask them, like, yo, like, before you lot came to this country and set up and, obviously sacrificed your own dreams for us and whatnot, like, what was you lot's dreams? Like, what did you lot want to be like when you were kids? You understand? Because, I was saying to you earlier, so
I've always said this as well, with that as well, I feel like them not telling us becomes a detriment later.
100%.
Do you not think so, though?
Yeah,
you not think so?
It does more harm.
Sorry.
No,
I feel like if you knew it, it makes it, like, let's say for example me, I've had to figure myself out as a person, but I don't think it should have been that difficult. I think I did have two parents that were in the same household. They should have been way more easier. But the older I've got, the more I've realised I understand everything that they got going on in ETC, so I get it. But I do feel like it is, like me, I've got two daughters now. No matter what, I have to tell them specific stuff, because you are going into the world don't love you the way I'm going to love you. And if you don't know specific things, you won't know how to navigate it. Do you know what I mean?
I think they did, like, our parents, they did what they could 100%. With the information they had, so it was never malicious, but they felt like they were doing the right thing. Me not knowing as much about my parents, it makes me a bit sad, if I'm honest. Like, I wish I knew more. Like, I feel like I would understand her, like my mum in particular, because I'm a woman. I would understand my mum a little bit more, and maybe I would navigate things a bit more differently because I have a daughter. I realized through parenting my daughter that she's very reflective of me when I was that age. So there's things I have to give grace to because she's 10 now. There's things I was doing when I was 10 that probably really like riled my mum up. And I didn't understand. I just thought she was just shouting at me. Whereas now my daughter's doing similar things to what I was doing at that age. And I'm seeing it is like giving birth to yourself. And like, it's a mirror. Some of the worst traits that you have as an individual will be reflected in your children. 100%. No matter how good of a parent you are. And I've seen that. But it's about managing that and like giving grace, giving understanding. I was parented differently to how I'm trying to parent my daughter, but ultimately, I feel like my mum or my dad showing me who they were would humanize them a little bit more.
100%.
And while we're not allowed to be friends with our children, and I do understand that you're a parent first and foremost, but I feel like there's a level of friendship that does need to be there.
100%.
Because with your friends, you trust them.
Of course.
You don't always trust your parents like the way you trust your friends. So you wouldn't confide in your parents. And when my daughter's an only child, I would like for her to trust me.
Of course.
So I would hope that by being transparent and showing her who I am, how I like things I like to eat, my favourite colour, she knows all of that stuff. She knows the kind of music I like to listen to. She knows that I like dancing outside. She knows that. She knows all of that with me. Do you know what I mean? I go out and I enjoy myself, but I also work very hard, and she gets to see all sides of me.
All sides of you, yeah.
I'm learning that because so I do music. I believe I'm big. But my kids, I don't want them to know, But at the same time, eventually they're going to know.
How old are your children if you don't?
4 and 3.
Oh, you've got time. don't stress yourself.
No, but you know what it is. One thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just quickly.
Yeah.
On that, I think that they're at a really beautiful age now, and I think like I wish I allowed my daughter to be like a proper child for much longer. She had to grow up a lot quicker because. Like my dad died. Then shortly after, I think my dad died when she was 4. Shortly after my mum died, so she had to navigate a lot of change. I had to navigate a lot of change.
Quick as well,
Very quick, and then also had to navigate sort of like splitting up with her dad, who I'd been with at this point for around 10 years. So it was a lot of change in a very short time. So even like shortly after that, then I got the cancer diagnosis. So she's had to grow up in certain ways a lot quicker. But if I could control it, I would let her be a child for much longer. Before it's kind of like, actually, the world is going to be this, the world is going to be that, and you need to prepare yourself by doing this. I'd say she's only learned more about who I am as an individual probably after the cancer, because it feels like a different opportunity for me to live and show her how I live.
That's good.
But you are doing the right thing.
I know. You know, I'm a bit. I'm not in a bad way. I'm not like some of the men. This is just me, off my observation. I'm not like some of the men of this generation. I don't really tolerate specific things, and you get me. Only because I think I understand the good and the bad that most of our parents kind of showed. So I would never call it strict, but I have to have, as much as obviously I'm their friend, I have to have that firm kind of thing as well. Do you know what I mean?